In this video, I'm going to share with you an email message I got from Annika von Holdt. So if you're curious to hear what her inspiring words were to me and how the whole thing came to be in the first place, then stay with me right here because that is coming right up next. July, 2 Julys ago, 2017. I was looking up something in a search. I don't even know what it was because I had never considered growing my hair out. I was trying to figure out how to keep it brown. I was actually trying to look for alternatives to make it to help get my own color back naturally. So how a picture of Annika von Holdt came up in the search, I don't know. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was divine intervention, if you believe that kind of thing, because I sure as heck, my friends, was not looking up anything along the lines of transitioning to gray. I'd never even heard that term. But there she was in her shining glory with that beautiful hair with the white streaks in the front, and my jaw hit the floor. I had never seen a woman with graying hair or gray hair that was long, unless there was a couple models out there that were probably in their 80s with super white hair, maybe about down to here. Beautiful women. But I knew that maybe one day when maybe I was 80, I might like to look like them. But I'd never seen a younger looking woman with long graying hair. You get gray hair, it's short. Most of them cut it off, but it's over. That was what my picture was too. Until I saw Annika and she changed my viewpoint of the world. Okay, maybe not the entire world, but the world with gray hair, absolutely. Because in that moment, my friends, I knew in my core that that was my path. However, I had a couple performances that were coming up, and rather than think about how I could still do those performances and let my hair start growing out right then, I chose to keep coloring it until after the point when they were over. But that's another matter. I kind of wish it hadn't been because I'd be so much further along right now. But anyway, after seeing the pictures of Annika and being floored, I ended up finding her blog, read a few things on her blog about letting your hair grow out that were helpful, and that gave me some insight into some ways to handle the transition process, a process I had never even really thought of before that moment in time, because I think I saw all of this on the same day. And so I reached out to her because one of the thoughts that I had been having as I was fighting harder and harder to hide those little white sparklers, because they'd start showing up like 4 days after I would dye my hair, and they would just only get worse from there. I was actually starting to consider maybe putting like the really light platinum blonde streaks in line with where my grayest hair was, right? I think a lot of people go that route. So what I had been doing is I kept letting my hair grow out a little bit, so that I could start to see where my whitest portions were, so that then if I was going to go to a salon, they could actually see where I wanted the highlights to go. But then I'd keep not going, I wasn't sure, and then I'd end up dyeing my hair again. So I had just dyed my hair again after having this much grow out. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have that now. And that's when I saw the picture of Annika. So I sent her this email asking her some questions, because at that point I knew I wanted to let my hair grow out. After I saw her, that was it. I knew I wanted it. I just didn't know when I was going to do it. And one of my thoughts became, well, there's a product called Sebastian Cellophanes, and it's actually mostly made out of vegetable coating type products. I forget exactly which. They used it in the long hair salon that I used to work at. And it comes in a variety of colors, a lot of natural type colors and a lot of unnatural colors too, depending on what you want. And it's a temporary type coating, but it does hold up for several weeks. It gradually washes out when you wash your hair, and it can last up to 4 weeks. So one of my thoughts then became, well, maybe while I'm growing my hair out, I could maybe use like the platinum blonde Sebastian cellophane color and maybe make my gray look like it's a little bit blonde to kind of help blend it in with the brown, I guess, as it's maybe growing out. That was my weird thought. So I sent her this email asking, first of all, praising her, telling her what a big difference it made for me seeing her, and that I was really inspired to grow my hair out. And I asked her a few questions, like if I did use that cellophane product, did she think it would actually stain my white hair? Because I didn't know anything about white or gray hair at that point. I didn't know it could stain. This was just thoughts I had because, you know, I work with fabric, I'm an artist, I work with things, and I can see how things sometimes stain. So I wasn't sure if that could happen or not. And in one of her blog posts, she had said that, for special occasions, you could kind of like cover it with mascara. during the transition if you have to kind of disguise it for a special occasion. But basically in that blog post she was saying, be prepared for, I don't even remember how many bad hair days, depending on how long your hair is and how long you want to transition it out. That's how many bad hair days like you could be expecting. I wrote her this email. I did ask her a couple questions. I didn't really think she would email me back. I mean, I kind of hoped, but I wasn't expecting it at all. I would not have thought twice about it if she had not. But she did. I was so excited. And I want to share with you what she said, because she not only has some good advice for hair and the transition process, but she said some really helpful things about aspects that can go much deeper than that. And they really struck a chord with me, and I think they would for a lot of other people too. And in fact, I think that I was struggling with some areas or some difficulties in one of these areas, and I feel that the words that she chose to use or was inspired to share with me that day really helped me to shift a lot within myself. So Annika, if you're ever watching this, thank you so much. You've made such a big difference for me. I know you have for many other people. You have inspired so many people, and there have been others too, of course, and I don't mean to discount them, but I know that you've played a really big hand in helping a lot of women stop putting disastrous chemicals on their skin and soaking in them, me included. And your other words of advice here really helped me a lot. So my friends, if you want to hear what Annika had to say, stay right here, because that's coming right up. Here's the email from Annika. Hi, Holly. Growing out gray hair is a commitment to yourself. A promise, if you will. It's a long process. She wrote long with a lot of O's. If you are not willing to cut it short, and it's not worth trying at all if you are not sure or committed. There will be many bad hair days, especially in the first year. I think we all can attest to that, right? Those of us who are within that year or just completed that year, or even if we're beyond it, we know that was the worst. And here's Annika's words again. And it's all going to be a waste of time if you, after 6 months, decide, screw this, with an exclamation mark. Or if somebody gives you a silly remark on the outgrowth and you consequently decide to color it again. Unlike any other natural hair color, gray is an attitude, a signal of self-confidence and pride. People always detect what you are insecure about, and then they go after it. It's human nature. Order of the universe. But if you brace yourself with determination and confidence, the matter, in this case hair, is not up for discussion. People can just piss off with their opinions. I like her spunky attitude. My best advice is just to let your hair grow out without any hocus pocus. You can never match the outgrowth to the colored lengths anyway, and bleach, color removers, highlights, and lowlights will only destroy your hair eventually. Better to let it grow out for 6 months to see what you are dealing with. Wear a hat, braid it, and cut a good deal off every half year until it's grown out in its full gray splendor. White hair will, all capital letters on will, absorb everything you put in it and leave yellow residue. So never color the virgin gray hair, not even with toners. And especially, never put bleach on it. And then in parentheses she wrote platinum highlights, which, that had been one of my thoughts. When I first was thinking of doing platinum highlights, it wasn't to grow it out into the gray. It was kind of just to still look kind of in a way that I thought was youthful, before I saw the beauty of Annika's hair. And then I was inspired to look at other women, because I wanted to see what other women too looked like with graying hair, because I knew that my face isn't as fabulous as Annika's. I knew I wasn't maybe going to look as awesome as her. And so I did look for pictures of other women that I thought were attractive, but maybe more in my range, of attractiveness, to see if they also looked really good with it too. And of course, time and time again, I was really blown away. I actually thought they all looked even more beautiful with their gray and their white hair. So there you go, my friends. There is the message from Annika. Let me know what you think about what she said. Let me know what stood out to you, which part stood out to you, or if you gained anything from that. And let me know if you're happy that I shared that with you. So give it a thumbs up if you liked any of this. A thumbs down if you didn't. And I'll look forward to seeing you back here again soon.